If you walk into our factory on a normal working day, you'll probably think the business is doing fine. There are samples being developed, clothes being cut, sewn, packaged, ironed, and shipped out. From the outside, it looks busy. But one thing I've learned since I started working here is that a busy factory is not always a healthy factory. Sometimes being busy simply means you're spending more money, taking on more risk, and waiting longer to get paid. One of the very first things I noticed was how much work happens before an order even exists. A customer might send us an idea, a reference photo, or a technical drawing. Then our team has to find the fabric, make the pattern, cut the garment, sew the sample, test the measurements, and sometimes send it out for printing or washing. If the fit or fabric is not right, we'll have to make adjustments, make another sample, then another one. Sample development can take days or even weeks, and every round involves fabric, labor, and experience. But in this industry, factories are often expected to do much of this work for free, because everyone is competing for the same order. And even after multiple rounds of development and back and forth, there is no guarantee that the bulk order will ever come. It is simply treated as the cost a factory should bear of getting business. And you might think the situation becomes better once the bulk order is confirmed. But unfortunately, that is not always the case. Traditionally, a factory would receive a deposit before production. That deposit helped cover fabric, trims, and some of the production costs. Today, we sometimes receive only 20 or 30%. In some cases, there is no deposit at all. But we still have to purchase the fabric, pay the workers, arrange the printing, washing, packaging, and transportation costs. In other words, the factory starts paying long before it starts getting paid. Even after the products are completed and shipped, we might wait another month or two to receive the remaining balance. During that time, the next order has already started, and the same cycle begins again. On paper, the factory has sales, but in reality, the cash has not yet arrived. And this business model has worked for a long time. When the industry was healthier, factories could focus on only one thing. It is to make good products. Someone else handled the branding, marketing, and selling. We just stayed behind the product, getting things done, and you are in business. But today, simply knowing how to make good clothes is no longer enough. There are so many factories out there competing for the same orders. Brands want smaller quantities and faster turnaround times. And price is constantly being pushed down. The people doing manufacturing take on a large part of the costs and responsibility, but receive only a very small part of the final value. A product might travel through agents, wholesalers, distributors, brands, and retailers before it reaches the person who actually wears it. Everybody adds something to the process, but the factory remains the furthest part away from the customer. We know how the garment was made, but we often have no idea who eventually wears it, why they chose it, or what they like or don't like about it. After handling a few bulk orders myself, I started noticing how much pressure this creates to our company. There could be many orders in production, but we would still be worried about the next payment, the next material purchase, and whether there was enough cash to keep everything moving. So I spoke with the team and figured out the problem was not that they had forgotten how to make clothes. We have spent more than 30 years building the ability to create products for other people. But we had never built a direct relationship with end users who actually wear these products. And that is why I decided to start Common Thread. It is not about giving up the factory business or pretending that starting a clothing brand is going to solve everything. It is about creating another path, a path where we can take what we have learned from decades of manufacturing and use it to make products directly for the people who wear them. We can choose fabrics based on how they actually behave, not just how they look in a photograph. We can adjust a pattern because we understand how 1 centimeter can change the balance of a garment. We can test shrinkage, reinforce the color, and work directly with the washing technicians until the wash feels right. And by reducing some of the layers between the maker and the end user, we can put more of the cost into the actual product. That does not mean making the cheapest clothes possible. It means trying to create honest value, good materials, thoughtful constructions, and a price that reflects the product rather than a complicated chain of middlemen. We are currently developing our first t-shirt, testing the wash, and learning how to build a brand from the factory floor. And I want to be the person to document the process honestly, the good decisions, the mistakes, and everything we learn along the way. So yeah, that's the story of Common Thread, a clothing brand built by the people behind clothing.